Hello, my name is Sabrina Hartzell, and I am doing my first research project around early childhood educators and their job demands. I am recording this all by myself, so if it gets a little wonky, I'm very sorry. Just preference. All right. So, the purpose of this study was to identify why early childhood educators are leaving at such high rates from their job. It's not unknown that early childhood education and education in general is a hard field to be in, and there are very high rates of burnout that exist. The need for this research is to essentially inform future policy. Without data and peer reviewed research, it's really hard to justify creating extra policies surrounding an issue in which we don't fully understand. So, this is the attempt at starting to understand those problems. The participants in this study focused on people who worked in early childhood education but under a very specific circumstance. These educators were working in Head Start funded programs, and those programs who were also in partnership with the Culture of Wellness in Preschools program. Um, Overall, the surveys, there were 137 surveys done from these staff members, and this research represents 32 centers in 3 urban counties in Colorado. It's also important to note that these staff were working in Head Start funded programs. And Head Start provides federal funding to people who target children who grow up in adverse conditions, whether it be they are impoverished or they have alternating circumstances like military families or adoption families, or other situations like that. A lot of times, these children's families don't make a lot of money or they have extenuating circumstances that can inform a lot of behavioral challenges that Head Start programs face. The study methods done in this research study were surveys. These surveys surrounded different models and scales like the Cohen Perceived Stress Scale and Patient Health Questionnaire. These surveys were meant to understand personal factors that might lead to teachers leaving. So, for instance, one question would be, in the last month, how often have you felt stressed? And this would be on a sliding scale 1 to 5, for instance. There are also external factors that could lead to burnout with teachers. One of the questions could be, how satisfied would you say you are with your job? This is used from the quality of work life module. So the results in this program showed a lot of what we can kind of guess is going on in the early childhood space. There are higher levels of personal demands and external demands that teachers are needing compared to the national average. For one instance, in this study, 20% of the early childhood staff marked that they had moderate or severe depression compared to just 8% of the national workforce. Another important piece is that there are 62% of childhood staff who agree or strongly agree with the statement, I have too much work to do everything well, compared to the national average of 35%. So the strengths of this study are that the surveys utilize well-known models, and they help to assist in understanding why there is such a high turnover rate. The surveys also compared to national averages, which helps to understand just how different the rates of burnout are amongst early childhood teachers in comparison to the rest of the nation. There are some limitations to this study, primarily that the particular data collected in this study can only be projected to early childhood educators within the parameters that they were using, like Head Start funded programs, because of the unique behaviors that are often seen in Head Start programming, as well as urban settings. So this data would not accurately represent a rural program or a private program that is not federally funded. There also can be particular bias because only a portion of the people who were eligible actually completed the survey. Oftentimes, people who have a negative experience with the job could be more likely to fill out a survey due to kind of the looming troubles that they have with their previous employment. Overall, this summary tells a story that educators have known for a while. There are significant disparities between national averages and the very specific subset of education that is early childhood education, and that staff also have less personal resources and skills to help cope with the demands that this particular job requires. And I also have my references on my paper. And all of these pictures are pictures that I took in my own position as an early childhood teacher. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.